Hello everyone, my name is Chris Schaefer. I'm the president of the Heritage Lake POA Board of Directors. This video is the 7th video in the 8-part series to help explain the issues before us with the current covenant ballot currently out for community vote. Hopefully you've already seen the previous 6 videos, which help explain the different issues on the ballot, along with some background on what the bylaws and covenants are, what the Board of Directors is responsible for, and why this ballot is being communicated so extensively. If you haven't watched the other videos, I encourage you to do so. They're only a few minutes long, and they should help answer some of your questions, or even prompt you to raise more questions. This video will help explain why this ballot is so important to our community. The short answer is the Board of Directors strongly encourages all members to vote your ballot in the proposed covenant changes. This and previous boards have been in favor of these changes because it allows the community to better govern itself. The board is in a position where we must uphold the rules and regulations defined for our community. Obviously, there are many of them. Some are legally binding, and all defined in the covenants are legally binding. This means even if the board agrees in principle that an idea is a good one, or if there is something our community would benefit from, the board cannot act to support a petition or ballot to the community to vote in the change without literally years of work to try and obtain the required number of votes to make it happen. Changing our covenants has historically been an impossible task. I know you've heard 100 times already that since they were drafted 40 years ago, they've never been changed. We've not been able to address outdated restrictions or add improved ideas or take advantage of advances in technology or tools not yet invented 40 years ago. We are unable to help our community grow, not just in numbers or development areas, but grow by being able to better govern ourselves and better manage our infrastructure and resources. Now for the detail behind the answer. The covenants were written strictly from the point of view of the developer, who authored them in the interests of his development of our community while the neighborhoods were being developed. It helped to maintain control over his vision. They supported an idea of 6 individual neighborhood entities, not a single community of about 1,000 people who identified themselves as Heritage Lake residents. Over the 40-plus years since we've grown to a community of around 3,000 property owners, our cars, boats, homes, and environment have significantly changed. Our needs have changed too. We require more agility if we're able to more effectively manage today's issues. Issues which should be reflected by rules which incorporate the needs and opinions of our community today and not the needs of a developer 40-plus years ago. As it stands now, those who do not vote control our very destiny at Heritage Lake. We simply are unable to make changes since over 1,900 affirmative votes are required to make any changes to the covenants. This reality has prevented us from doing so many important things, even though a large majority of those active and living in our community favor those changes. In the vote for the covenant change last year, ballots received were more than 70% in favor of changing the covenants as proposed. We are committed to working extremely hard to encourage all 8 Heritage Lake POA members to vote this year. We will be highly visible at fundraisers, community events at the marina, and we'll be working really hard to be available to you to answer questions or have any discussions around any of the issues up for vote. The success of this vote is critical to the future success of our community. I've heard a lot of things now coming into my 3 years on the board. I listen to complaints, ideas, and the perspective and points of view of others. I also offer my perspective and feedback as much as I'm able. I've made myself available to answer questions and clarify the reasons for the way some things are in our community. I hope that I've been able to demonstrate to this community that the board does care about what this community wants and needs. But very frequently, we are prevented from acting upon what we view is in our best interests because some of the restrictions, because of what we must live by in our covenants. Don't get me wrong. I believe our community is awesome. We have a great mix of diverse interests as far as on the water, off the water, skiers, boaters, fishermen, and those who just want to quietly sit on their dock, porch, or at the beach. Our existing covenants have carried us a really long way. They have somewhat stood the test of time. If we are to manage our future more effectively, if we are to seize control of our own destiny and direction, we must have rules and standards which ensure our community will make it through the next 40 years, for ourselves, our children, our grandchildren. It's time to dust off the old rules and begin anew, to dig into those things we need to change to better address the challenges we currently face, and redefine our rules and guidelines in ways which help us better manage where we want our community to be in 5, 10, and 20 years and beyond. My fellow members, it all starts with our making this critical initial step of making it possible for us to govern ourselves. I am referring to the 2/3 majority requirement of all votes to change our covenants versus the current 2/3 majority vote of all lots. Once done, we will have the opportunity as a community to shape and define our future. By rallying together around the ideas we support, we can choose to make them part of us and shape our destiny. We can also reject those ideas we choose not to adopt. I feel these proposed covenant changes will give us the best chance to sustain the future of this community, making us more able to quickly react to our needs. The power will be with those who vote. The Board of Directors is and always will be made up of members of our community who live here and have the same things at stake that you do. We want to take care of our resources and our people. These changes will help us do just that. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me and to give these issues some careful thought before casting your vote. However you feel, let it be known by casting your vote. If you can't find your petition, burned it, or the dog ate it, you can pick one up at the clubhouse office, marina, print one off from the website, or call and ask the office to send you another one. You now may cast your vote in a variety of ways. Duplicate submissions will be identified and the latest one discarded to ensure no duplicate ballots are cast. You have the power. Make your voice heard.